Good morning, guys. It's Diane again, clambering into my seat. I bought a control that hooks up to the camera so that I can turn it off and on at a seating position, but I can't read the instructions. I'll try to figure that out by tomorrow. Anyway, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the fact that I have been insecure all of my life. And the only reason I'm sharing this is because I think some of you might feel the same way. I just wanted to share with you why and how I feel that way. Hi, I'm Diane. I just want to thank you for all of the comments that have been coming my way. They have been awesome. I can't even tell you how awesome you have made me feel. Thank you so much. And if you please subscribe to my channel, that would help me immensely. I can't even tell you how much that would help. I mean, the views are great, but I would love for you to subscribe and share with a friend if you feel like your friend might need to hear this. Anyway, I might add something right here. I was just monetized. Thank you very much. That's because of you guys. Thank you so much. If you could possibly go through the ads on my channel for at least 30 seconds, I would still get paid. If you just listen 30 seconds before you click on skip. Now, as soon as I found that out a few months ago, I have suffered through watching the ads on my favorite YouTubers that I watch regularly because I want them to be compensated for the work that they put in. So just kind of figure out 30 seconds and stay as long as you can, please. I would much appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, on with this sordid tale. And I'm sorry I sound gruff, but I have allergies and I always sound like I have a cold. Can't do anything about it. I do have notes because this one is so... Anyway, now as a child, I was very, very shy. Very shy. I wasn't painfully shy, but I was shy. And grew up an introvert. My father's family, or I would say almost all of them, were introverts. Spoke very little, were very quiet, and so was my dad, and I got that from him. Now my mom, on the other hand, she was an extrovert. She and my dad, how they got together, I'll never know, because they were total opposites. She was beautiful. She was flamboyant. She was the life of the party. She was funny. She was extravagant. I mean, I could go on and on. She always wore, to the end of her life, she wore tight, and I mean tight, blue jeans. She'd have to lay on the bed to zip them up. That's how tight they were. And her blouse, she always wore blouses. They were always tucked in her jeans. She had a belt. Sometimes it was a cowboy belt buckle. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and she always wore boots. Almost always wore boots. She was a character. She was a character. Her blouses should turn up the collar in the back, so it kind of looked like Elvis. She'd roll up her sleeves. I mean, she was beautiful. And everybody loved her. Everybody loved her. Everybody. And I am not going to bash my mom. I had a hard time deciding whether or not to make this video because I didn't want to bash my mom. But she had a lot to do with my psyche and how I grew up. I never felt good enough for my mom. I had many cousins, and they were all, loud and talked and blah, blah, blah. And they all spent the night with me all the time. They went on vacations with us. And I knew that she wished secretly that I was like my cousins. I knew that. I'll wash those dishes, Mom. No, you probably wouldn't do it right. That kind of thing. Just little things all of my life. She would hire my cousin, who was almost the same age as me, to come and clean our house on Saturday, which she could have taught me. Oh, she's very picky woman about clean, and, well, she's picky about everything. Now, she always bought me everything I needed. I always had new clothes before school started, new clothes in the winter, new clothes in the spring, new clothes in the summer. We made it an event. She would take me shopping, would spend which I hate. I hate shopping. I hate it to this day. But anyway, she would take me. She bought me everything I wanted. She lavished me. I had a beautiful bedroom. It was decorated beautifully. We weren't rich, by no means. She worked in a factory. And my dad drove an ice cream truck for Borden ice cream. They both worked hard. But she lavished me with stuff, but she never said, "Oh, good job, Diane, you did good on this or that or whatever." Now, in the background, to other people, I could hear her bragging on me about something, but she never said it to me. I always felt so not unloved. I knew she loved me, but I felt inadequate. That's the only word that comes to me. Now, as I grew older, well, first I have to tell you that she was very funny, and she would make funny comments about me, and everyone would laugh, but they were hurtful to me because it was a put down. But everybody laughed, so I thought she's just making a joke. But after years and years, even into my adult life, she did that. It hurt me. I have never told these things to anyone. I have never spoke them out loud to anyone because I don't want you to think I'm bashing my mom, because she was the world to me when she died. Did you see the movie Marooned, or are you too young to know about that? When an astronaut was disconnected from the spaceship, and he just floated off into the void. That's the way I felt when my mom passed. She died with cancer, and that's the way I felt. So I did love her immensely. And I took care of her in her later years. I did what I was supposed to. I'm just telling you how she affected my life. And let that be a lesson to other mothers. And back then we didn't hug and say I love you. We just didn't. And most families didn't. Nowadays, yes, we do. I hug all my kids. I tell everybody I love them. Yes, now we do that. But at the time, we did not. Now, in high school, which high school was hell for me anyway, because I was such an introvert. And I've told this before on another video. I had two cousins that were rather popular, and I just kind of, joined in with them and received some bit of popularity. And we had two girl sororities at our school, and they were in one of them, and I became, when I was a senior, I was nominated for president. Me, for president of that club. Now, all these girls were my friends, but when we'd have parties, I was still introverted, hated parties, hate parties today, will not go to a party. Anyway, I was elected president. And later, my mom said to me, I don't remember the circumstances, and this is hard for me to say out loud. I have never told this to anyone. I think I have told this one thing to my daughter Ashley at one point, but I hope she's forgotten it. And I hope my family doesn't watch my videos. But she said to me, you were not elected president. I was elected president. And the truth of the matter is, she was probably right. Each girl would have a spend the night party at their home, at some time during the year, and everybody loved to go to my house. We just had a very small house. And everyone loved to go to my house because Mama Nell was there. That's what we called her. I called her Mother, but everybody called her Mama Nell. So Mama Nell was there. She'd be in her bedroom, and there would be 8 girls laying in the bed with her, laughing and talking. Everybody loved her. So you know what? She was probably right. Still cut me like a knife. And I never told her so. And when you have to deal with things like that, it's hard. These kind of things forms your whole life. Again, I'm not bashing my mom. She could have been kinder. She could have been kinder to her sisters. I mean, she could be harsh. But like I said, everyone loved her. She was funny as crap. I mean, she was hilarious. She was. Oh, let me tell you this. When my first son, was in grammar school, I was a teacher, so I couldn't pick him up because I was teaching at another school in another town. She had a motorcycle, and she wore short shorts in the summertime. She would ride her motorcycle to the school to pick up my son from school. Well, everybody thought my son had the coolest grandmother. And he did. She was the best grandmother ever. But can you imagine? Yes, she did that. Okay. And because of her, I got into the curtain business. I was teaching school, and at this particular time, I was under contract with United Way. They paid my salary at the school that I taught at. Her kids had been kicked out of school, so I was at an alternative school. And United Way paid my salary. I was under contract for 2 years. 2 years, that was up. So in 2 years, I didn't have a job. And my mom said, oh, have you seen those country curtains, that everybody's talking about? And, blah, blah, blah. We ought to start that kind. We could do that. We could sew that. We could make money doing that. I said, okay. That's how we started a curtain business. And I know you young people don't remember ruffled curtains. They call them Priscilla curtains now. We called them country curtains. We sold a ton of those. We started a business started in my mom's house. Then we finally built a little cabin out in the country on mine and my husband's property. We worked there. And then later moved, well, no, first I think we were in town in a business on Main Street. So, yeah, that's where we started. We had like 15 people working for us at one time. And I don't know what Mom was upset about that day. Something, I don't know. Anyway, she called me mealy mouth in front of our workers. And that hurt my feelings. And the reason I can remember that is because it was so traumatic for me. And I knew what she meant by that. She meant that I couldn't come out and correct a worker and tell them, what they were doing wrong or whatever, because I was me. But I tell you what, I did do good. Mother stayed in front and waited on customers because she was good at talking. People loved her. Everybody loved my mom. And in the back, I had to make sure everybody stayed busy. So I had to look ahead to everyone and make sure they had work behind them to do. And I did a good job because I knew what I was doing. Okay, I guess that's enough about that, but she did form a lot of my insecurities. Well, in high school, which I'm telling you was rough, I was so afraid a teacher was going to call on me. Oh, I was so afraid of that. And if they did, oh my God, I just panicked. Yeah, I panicked so badly that I could not think of the answer for sure. It was awful. Although I made decent grades, but that was terrifying to me. And why, I do not know. I was a teacher, and I hoped I never made anyone feel that way. I'm just telling you how I felt. And boyfriends, I'd go on dates, and I bet I wouldn't say 20 words the whole 3 or 4 hours that I was on a date. Is anybody relating to this? Anybody? And then I'd go home, and I didn't curse at that time or say bad things. Well, I don't now much, I can get aggravated, but nowadays I look at it and I think, dumbass. What was wrong with you? I don't know what was wrong with me. I was an introvert, and I was trying desperately to cover it up and not doing a good job. Not doing a good job. Have y'all turned me off yet? Because I feel like I'm on a rant. Okay. Then I married my high school sweetheart, which he went to another school. He was like the star football player at another school. Why he dated me, I'll never know. He could not be faithful. Before we got married, after we got married, he just couldn't do it. And I felt I just wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough as a wife. I just couldn't hold my own. I just couldn't do it. Anyway, he left me. Thank the Lord, because I could have never done it. Thank the Lord, he left me. Now, he was abusive. I didn't understand that. I'd never been abused by my parents. Never. So I didn't understand that. He would hit me, choke me, hit me in the head with a ring. A ring. All of that. Anyway, I just didn't feel like I was enough for him either. Well, I was at church one day. This is after I got a divorce. And I ran into a guy that I went to school with, graduated with. We were in the same class. Well, he asked me out, and, whatever. I married him, knowing before I married him that he was not truthful. Same thing I'd just been through, but he was kind and gentle and nice, and everybody loved him. Everybody still loves him. He has friends running out the wazoo. He knows everybody in town. He's that kind of guy. But he's not always truthful. And I'm not trying to bash him either, because he is a good person. He is a good person. I don't know what it is about a liar, where they get it, why they get it, why they do that. I do not know. But I can't figure that out. I'm having a hard time trying just to figure myself out. Anyway. So then I decided to get a divorce from him, which I did. My mom got cancer. Eventually, she passed. I think it was 3 years later. And before she died, she said, please go back to, what's his name? He loved you so much. I can die in peace if I know that someone's going to be with you and taking care of you and the kids. Well, I could not tell her no. I could not. So that's what I did. She passed, a couple weeks after that. So I remarried him. And by the way, we are still married today. But 25 years ago, I left him again. And why mess with a divorce? I was 50. Why do that? Who cares? Who cares? So, we are still married. And we can actually talk on the phone and be friends. Before my grandson died, when we had these get-togethers at my home, dinners and birthday celebrations, Christmas, all of that, he was always invited and always came. I had no problem with it. No problem with it. But then, after I left him, I went, no more men. I have no interest in them whatsoever. Dating, oh my God, no. Forgive that, no. Now, I struggled on and off with my children. Yes, I did. But I had rather struggle and be on my own and not feel so bad about myself. Man, my kids have gone through some stuff. I've had to sell their things to just try to feed them. Now, when I was living with my husband, one Christmas they all got four-wheelers because we lived on 30 acres in the middle of it, and they had a ball. Well, I ended up having to sell those, which I regret. Those belong to my children. I should not have sold them. But I was desperate. I was desperate. And I sure hope they forgive me. I think they all still love me and don't think about things like that. I sure hope so. See, I don't want you to think that there's that old lady sitting there complaining. She lives in a nice, cute little house, and she got her own business. She can make her own money. And why is she sitting there just belly aching? Well, I want you to know I've been through some crap. I've been through a lot of crap. My children and I have gone hungry on occasion. That's hard to say. That's hard to admit. And I know no one in my family would want to hear that. But at the time, now I could have called any family member and they would have brought me food. Yes, I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a car. We were like stranded. That's enough of that, because that is bad thoughts. What did Jesus say? Think on the good, only of good things. That does help. Just think of good things. Okay. I just want you to know why I spent my whole life not feeling good enough. And I want to hear from you if you felt the same way. Now I have to tell you that I've always felt like failure was around the corner, which it usually was. I've been up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. I have lost 3 homes just from, not having enough, thinking I could do more than I could, all that kind of stuff. If someone offered me $10 million to go through my life again, I'd say, and be young again, to spend that $10 million, I'd go, no thank you. No, I don't want to do that. No. I just always felt like I never measured up until last week. I'm telling you, I'm almost emotional about it. But your comments have meant the world to me. They have meant the world to me. I mean, you actually like to hear me talk about crap? I cannot believe that. And the crap that I talk about, you want to hear it? Oh my God. You have changed my way of thinking. And I'm so appreciative. So much. Now what I'm thinking is, and I want you to know this, if you have been where I've been, maybe I was good enough all the time. Maybe it was my warped perception that kept me down all of my life. Maybe I blew things out of proportion. I don't know, but maybe I've decided that maybe I was good enough all the time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I've been shrouded with insecurities all of my life, and all of a sudden, I don't have any. Thank you so much. Forgive me for crying, but I knew I would. I cry easily. Thank you for listening to my video. Please subscribe. I'll have a cheerful one next time, maybe. But thank you so much. And I have to get up and turn my camera off again. I'm so sorry. You have to look at my fat self. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time. Love's coming your way.